been the one to say the first goodbye. Had to love and lose 100 million times. Had to get it wrong to know just what I like. Now I'm falling. You say my name like I have never heard before. I'm indecisive, but this time I know for sure. I hope I'm not the only one that feels it all. Are you falling? Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. Whenever you want it, baby. It's you and my reflection. I'm afraid of all the things it could do to me. If I would've known it, baby, I to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Your fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like things. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all
have you heard of Jesus?
just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do it right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Dropping bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that ground. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, then you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, you got to go. To the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they worth. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might get a little more lip G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing it side between them buns. Shawty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get enough. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like a 94. When I have the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Shh, yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When
Deliver me from mine enemies, O my God. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity, and save me from bloody men. The mighty are gathered against me. Awake to help me, and behold.
All right, chat. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing? We got a super chat here while we were playing some music.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Congresswoman Mace tips $3 and says, Beckloff, if you sexualize my mommy milkers or tight wet pussy, I'll open a congressional investigation on you. Well, I mean, she'll do it. You've seen it, chat. Fucking hell. Eldridge fan says, prayer for Joe Biden. May he repent and make a full and public confession. That would be great. Honestly, especially if it's a real confession. I mean, imagine best of all timelines from this point forward. He repents. a genuine repentance, and then holds a press conference with his last bit of fucking mental acuity left and says, oh yeah, I did all that heinous shit. Let me tat on all the fucking people who did shit with me too, by the way. Like, even if he doesn't like implicate other people, even if he just says all this shit he did publicly, my God. Chat says, I don't think he has the faculties to confess and repent. I think he's in and out. I think he has lucid moments. I don't think he's completely gone. He might be, but I think he's got, and I think the lucid moments aren't the majority. And that, by the way, that's horrifying. That alone is its own fucking hell. You know. Brief moments, brief islands of self-awareness in a fucking sea of madness and senility is, that's a form of hell right there. But getting back Nancy Mace, that was fucking Nancy. I don't think I've talked about her on stream, but I've dunked on her on Twitter, or I should say, my good buddy Andrew Banner, who's totally not me, has dunked on her on Twitter. But he has the same thoughts I do on this regard, and on many issues, really. But she's a fucking joke. And I'm sorry, when your whole fucking career is built on, like, dunking on troons, it's like, I get it. Like, nobody really likes them. Gay people don't even really like them when you get right down to it. The rest of the alphabet fucking mafia doesn't like them. But anyone who's a one-issue fucking candidate or politician is usually a joke. It's like Alan Keyes, like, just drawing the subject back to abortion on everything. Like, OJ got away with murder because of abortion. Like, that kind of shit's usually a joke. One-issue candidates are always a joke. And that's all Nancy is. Oh, I'm protecting women's spaces. Meanwhile, she's like, hey, look how I went to this. I was the first woman in this, which I don't even think she was. But she claimed she was, like, the first woman in some military academy. I don't think it was West Point. I think it was something else. But West Point's the only military academy I can fucking name. But it's like, cool. So you were a woman that invaded male spaces. Awesome. But that dude in a dress can't invade your fucking female space, right? That's what we're doing. And then she pulls this fucking stunt where she's like, I'm going to show my titties on, I'm going to post hole on the fucking floor of the house. Because of my revenge porn bill, which I'm always a little weary about those kind of bills. A lot of times they kind of start to step on free speech a bit. But I do get, I agree revenge porn is a terrible thing. And there probably should be some protections. Whatever. It's a thorny issue. Point is, though, she's all like, because my ex-boyfriend took pictures of me without me knowing, I guess. And I'm mad at my ex-boyfriend, so I'm gonna post hole on. That'll show him. I'll show everybody. And then she posts like, look, man, you don't have to put out, Nancy, but don't say you're gonna put out and don't put out. All right. Then she posts these grainy fucking photos, look like some 1990s fucking alien autopsy, fucking grainy picture of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster shit. Just doesn't show us anything. And it's like, come on, man. What do you do? Stop it. And it's all just a attention horn. It's like, again, it's like the super chat there. It's like, stop sexualizing my tight, wet pussy. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Nancy. You want to show me your titties? I'm copacetic to that idea. Show me your titties, sweetie. I'm A-okay with that. In fact, can we get AOC on this too? Make it bipartisan? Get Lauren Boebert in this? All three of you can show me your titties. And then if you really want to make your point, you should make out with each other. That would be fantastic. I'm okay with that. But just because you whine about troons is not... I understand that was an annoying issue, and it was an issue that was being shoved down everyone's throat. And I get it. I get the backlash against trannies. but like, the rights decided to make some heroes and some idols and some leaders out of some dumb hoes whose only fucking claim to fame is they pointed at some dude in a dress and said ew. And that's just not enough. It's not enough, okay? Chet says, am I talking about Nancy Pelosi? No one wants to see Nancy Pelosi's dried up old pussy, okay? I'm sure if she opened it up, bats would fly out. Because they hide in there during the daylight hours. No, I'm talking about Nancy Mace. No, nobody wants to gaze into that abyss. It's the same thing with Riley Gaines. And I've caught shit from other right wings. Hell, even my dad was giving me shit where I'm like, Riley Gaines is a fucking idiot. So, no, she's a hero. And she's hot, I guess. I mean, she's alright. Frankly, I think Laura Boebert's hotter. If we're talking about political figures, Nancy Mace's hotter. AOC's hotter than fucking Riley Gaines. It's like, Riley Gaines' claim to fame is that she swims real good. But not as good as nearly any dude. But still, I guess pretty good. So, let's make her the leader of our fucking movement. Let's make her a prominent figure in the right-wing griftosphere. And then she's like, ew, that lady said the N-word when some little knick-nog was fucking was stealing her kids' toys. I think we should let the left string her up. It's like, cool. This is what we get for listening to a lady whose claim to fame is she swims real good, but not as good as any dude. I shouldn't say any dude. She probably outswim my fucking fat out of shape ass. Of course, if she's even got to work at it to beat me, it kind of... Can we go back to admitting that female sports is a fucking joke and we don't care about it? Like, I understand that, like, as like a counter signal against like the transsexual movement, a lot of you decided that you're big fans of the WNBA all of a sudden. But like, can you just be fucking honest with yourself and shit? Like, nobody cares about really college swimming in general, but certainly not girls' college swimming. I'm sorry, can we go back to being a little honest about that shit? Like, oh, we gotta defend the sanctity of girl sports because that was really fucking important. Yeah, it's not fair, and I don't think dudes should be competing in girl sports. But also, let's take another step back. The entire fucking atmosphere around high school and college sports, the entire subculture around it, male or female, is pretty fucked at the end of the day. I don't know if you knew this, chat, but colleges were originally supposed to be schools. These were supposed to be institutes of higher learning. Now, they're not anymore for a number of reasons, sports being the least among them. But in theory, if we were to get our culture back on track, you would think then that colleges would be institutes of higher learning, where our best and brightest go to study to be leaders in their respective fields. And I don't know, maybe she swims real good, but not as good as nearly any dude. Isn't it good enough reason to give somebody free access to such an institution? Maybe he bounces a ball real good. Isn't a good enough reason to be putting these people in these places? That's just me. That's my thoughts on the matter. Do you think dudes in dresses should compete in women's sports? Yeah, probably not. But also, who gives a fuck? It's kind of always been my matter on my take on that subject matter. Or let's be fair, not who gives a fuck. The answer is probably not. But I also don't care. I'm a little more concerned about getting the fucking Epstein files out there than whether or not a chick loses in a sport no one cares about to a delusional man in a dress. But yeah, Congresswoman Nancy Mace decided she was going to post whole, but then she didn't post whole, and you just don't go blue ball on the American people like that, okay? Nobody needed you to show us your titties until you promised to and didn't. All right, yet another politician failing to deliver on their promises. It's fucking shameful, isn't it, chat? So I stumbled across this tweet from Matt Walsh. This is from May 1st, so it's kind of old, but I just saw it the other day. Some chick named Hannah Cox, I don't know who the fuck this is, I don't really care. But she was talking about conservatism was supposed to be about conserving constitutional rights and limited government and capitalism. She says, and a capitalism, which, okay, typo, it's Twitter, fine. You failed at all of those largely because people with cookie cultist religious views took over, hyperfixated on sex, and burnt the movement to the ground, blah, 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 blah. Matt Walsh responds, this is fucking unhinged with him. Religious people didn't take over conservatism. In fact, let's screen share this. Just for shits and giggles, Chad. Okay. Religious people didn't take over conservatism. The movement has always been led by religious people, and religious conservatives are the only ones who claim any cultural victories of any kind at all. Like what? What have you and your libertarian friends achieved, aside from making sure that every city in the country stinks of weed and it's filled with homeless junkies? You've accomplished nothing, and then you turn around and blame us for your failures. That last sentence is the epitome of fucking projection here. First of all, it's the fault of libertarians that cities in this country stink of weed and filled with homeless junkies. Because as we all know, libertarians run the cities in America, right, chat? All the mayors of all the major cities are fucking libertarians, right? Yes, libertarians would legalize weed, which isn't a big fucking deal. But businesses, under libertarian rule, would be allowed to ban it. So it would basically be like smoking, where you basically can't do it anywhere but your own fucking home if you want, which is how it should be. And also, businesses would be able to get fucking homeless people off the goddamn street around them, because, you know, there'd be private property. But even, like, your failures... This is this weird dichotomy, conservatives like Matt Walsh. They really hate libertarians. Nobody hates Nobody hates someone that believes in freedom more than a fucking conservative. But it's like, libertarians are both responsible for all the ills, but also have accomplished nothing. But let's talk about what conservatives have accomplished for a moment here, Matt Walsh. For 60 fucking years, conservatives have lost. They've accomplished nothing. They haven't even conserved the girls' bathroom or the sanctity of women's sports, which are apparently very important to them. I didn't realize. But despite that, they haven't been able to conserve it. The only thing I can think of that conservatism really, quote-unquote, accomplished in the last several decades is giving us the Patriot Act in the Iraq War. Thanks a fucking bunch. Those were great. The only victories the Republican Party has seen in the last 60 fucking years, significant victories. Don't talk to me about Reagan either, by the way. Reagan didn't do shit. Except, you know, ban machine guns and flood this country with illegals. The only things... The only real fucking victories we've seen from the Republican Party have come are from the right, I guess. First, you could say came from Gamergate if you want to get fucking pedantic about it. That was the first major pushback against the left I saw in my lifetime. It ultimately failed, but it's funny that it came from a group of people that conservatives like Matt Walsh have a disdain for. Then the second one that actually so far is working out pretty good, especially in the second term, has been the Trump movement. And while Trump has brought conservatives he brought conservative leaders to heel ultimately, and has brought conservatives into his fucking movement, it is not conservatism. It is not the way the Republican Party has been defined for almost any of my lifetime. You could argue Trump has a lot in common with a Democrat of 30 years ago. You could even argue he has a lot in common with a Republican of 100 years ago. He has, frankly, more in common with libertarians than he does with classical conservatism, with anybody, with any figurehead of the right during the Bush years. Spice Weasel says, "Can I call in?" Yeah, I'll take a call, man. But let me get through my topics here. Give me about 10 minutes, and I'll take callers, maybe 20. But no, Trump ultimately has more in common with a Ron Paul figure than he does with George W. Bush. Again, Trump's not a libertarian by any stretch, but there's definitely a little libertarian fucking broth in this soup. Because frankly, he's done more to already with fucking Doge and Elon Musk. He's already done more to cut the federal government than the conservatives have done in 50 fucking years. Despite the fact that he doesn't give a fuck about abortion, he's done more for the pro-life movement. He's done more to restrict abortion than the conservatives did in 50 years fucking prior. Chad says Reagan did make the USSR submit, so give him credit for that. Yeah. Did he? Did Reagan make the USSR collapse, or was he just kind of there when it happened? Don't get me wrong, he handled that situation pretty well. But the USSR made the USSR collapse. Okay, let's be fucking real. It's so weird to me the disdain conservatives have for libertarians. The MAGA movement really doesn't, by and large. Again, I would argue that it's a very loose confederation. It's mostly nationalism and populism, but I mean, speaking as a man who's considered himself libertarian his whole fucking life, I'm pretty fucking happy with what's going on here. Oh, I have notes, don't get me wrong. You know, again, the whole Cash Patel, Dan Bongino fucking, oh yeah, Epstein really did kill himself shit. I'm not fucking thrilled about that. But, I mean, I enjoyed watching Trump fucking dunk on the South African president today. We might even watch that on here. Blue Team says, I'd like to call in to prove I'm not Tom Bombadil. Motherfucker, I don't know. If you keep super chatting, I don't care if you are Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil super chat sometimes. And he's not stingy with it when he does. So fuck it. Go ahead. I've said to Tom Bombadil numerous times too, like, if you got into my server again and just stopped like pissing everybody off, I wouldn't have to do anything about it. I don't like kicking people out. I like it being an open server. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people, and I guess I can understand if you get to a certain size of your audience, but there's a lot of people that like really, really want to cultivate their servers into a hug box. And I try to not be that way. Yeah, I mean, you could piss me off, and, you know, if you're constantly needling me about shit. Like, there was one guy, and it wasn't even a disagreement, and I like the guy. I still follow him on Twitter, and he follows me, but it's like, I finally, like, kind of was like, and I was having trouble at work, too, work with shit, but he's just always needling me about shit on there, and it seemed like he was always picking a fight with me, and I'm like, dude, can you just lay the fuck off me? Like, come on, man. Like, in a DM, and he's like, I'm just going to leave the server. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. You don't have to, but just, like, stop fucking poking me, I guess. Chat says free trade. I've never been big on free trade, to be honest, even though I'm libertarian. Like, free trade would be fucking fantastic if I lived in a world. If I lived in a world where every country was relatively first world and free, free trade and even open borders would be fucking great. They would be net positives. But I don't. I don't want the American worker to compete with Chinese slave labor. That said, though, if you don't like tariffs, you should be very happy with Trump's tariff war, because he's actually reducing overall the amount of tariffs. He's getting other countries to drop their tariffs on our shit. Let's see. You know what? I got the Trump video with him in the South African president. It was great. He brought the receipts. Guy's like, no, there's no white genocide over there, and he's like, oh yeah, well, what about all this fucking evidence? And even though he did that, if you've watched the thing, like still like NBC News is on Twitter like Trump is claiming that there's a white genocide in South Africa, even though that's false. It's like, fuck off, man. All right, you know what? We're going to go ahead and hop into Discord. So here's the deal. Chat. Spice Weasel, you're in the Discord, aren't you? I'm going to hop into the voice chat in Discord, and people can hop in with me. I really should change the fucking... The date on there is wrong. You know what? Let me fix this. I'm just going to call it show chat. Hang on. All right. Hang on a second, chat. I know. Dead air. Really great, riveting radio. All right. Hey, Spice Weasel, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I didn't think this was gonna work. Awesome. Yeah, no, you were talking. This was a few weeks ago about how you were a mall rat, and that just kind of inspired me to send you some super berries and.
Dude, I was such a mall rat going. The place I lived to was about 15. There was actually a mall I could walk to. It was a great suburb. I could walk to or ride my bike to just about anywhere I wanted to be. And I even remember they had a little comic book, not even a shop. It was like a stand. It was almost like, you know, like at the end of a food court, they often have like a little coffee stand. It was like that, but it was a newsstand of comic books.
Oh, and it brought that up to me because the mall in the town I grew up in closed down and just got bulldozed like last month. So it made me a little nostalgic. So
there's one I used to go to. It's not really super close to me, but it was about an hour, maybe a little bit more, up here in PA. It was Granite Run Mall, kind of getting on the outskirts of Philly, you know, the greater Philadelphia area. They bulldozed it about, oh good God, maybe damn near close to 10 years ago, probably like 8 or 9 years ago now. But it was.
Hey, can you hear me? Am I in here?
Yep. We're talking about
Okay,
malls.
cool, man. All right, sweet. Yes. Sorry if I've interrupted the flow of anything.
But yeah, so the Granite Run Mall, it had a nice comic book store in it, although the service there was terrible because there was like, they usually just did Warhammer tournaments there, and they were constantly engrossed in that to where if you're trying to check out, you were like bothering the fucking people working there basically. And they had a great sandwich shop, one of the best Philly cheesesteaks you could get. They had some like Asian immigrant couple running like a bootleg t-shirt store where you guys get really cool t-shirts, like a lot of obscure comic characters and Nintendo shit back in like the 2000s when there wasn't a lot of merchandise for that. Great mall, but they tore it down, man.
Yeah, no, they tore down the mall and they're gonna build more housing for all the H-1Bs that have flooded my old hometown.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah, the mall there, my place, it used to be like a pretty nice mall, but you could probably guess what ended up happening with that. You know, they had to input like the security towers or like the security camera. I remember because it was a really cool place, and I would saw the Dark Knight there, and that was one of the best movie going experiences because that was the first ever one I'd ever seen at midnight, and just the crowd was into it, but they were just into it in just such a really really cool way that just actually like enhanced the experience.
the mall in Lancaster here, Park City, it was in trouble for a little while, and then something called Round One went in where the Sears was, which is like this arcade slash bowling alley slash bar slash like trampoline jump zone thing, and it revitalized that whole mall. Like Round One it has like longer hours than the mall itself, and it's constantly packed.
So it's like a Dave and Buster's on steroids.
Yeah, it doesn't have a full restaurant like Dave and Buster's, but it does have a bar where you can get some food. You can get like maybe hot dogs and shit like that. I think there, I've on occasion on Sunday just kind of sat there and had a drink and just sort of listened to the ambiance of the arcade and watch people go by.
You know, one thing weird. There was something similar to the place to one of the malls where I live, and ironically enough, like it was one of those things, but it opened right across the street from the mall and inside of an old Toys R Us, and I just was wondering, it's like, hey, you know, the anchors had gone out of business. Why not just put that in the mall instead? That would bring, you know, a lot more foot traffic.
If I had a mall, I think in the anchor stores, I'd try to get a Target, because I mean, Target's really fucking popular, and it doesn't have a terrible clientele like Walmart. Walmart's got trash clientele, no matter where you live. You can live in a white area, and Walmart will bring out the white trash. Like Walmart, you don't want Walmart there.
The Target,
but Target has
the
a
Target
bit of a
nearby
better
place
clientele.
has like, sorry, the Target nearby place. It's a similar thing to what you're talking about, because there's like a Walmart 2 miles away, and it's like a just a mixture between like I don't know, the Mexican border and Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, whereas the Target that's just 2 miles away is like all hot college chicks.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's a Target like a mile down the road from a Walmart here, and the Walmart's like full Puerto Ricans, and the Target's just full white upper, you know, lower to upper middle class people. But everywhere I go, man, like up in Ephrata, the north end of this county, like there's no Mexicans, there's no Hispanics, there's no blacks in that Walmart up there. It's still trash. It's still just white trash. It's still like just garbage clientele. And I don't even know why, because the prices aren't like really better at Walmart that much. Like a little bit, I guess. But not enough to explain that much of a difference in clientele. You know, it's real. I don't know what Target does to keep the riffraff out, but we should learn it and apply it to the nation as a whole.
It's not just that one. Like I went to a Walmart, and it was in a like kind of what you mentioned. It was like in a very white but like kind of a white trash area, and it was honestly the worst customer service I've gotten at like a Walmart. Don't get me wrong, I've been to Walmarts that have been with more diverse staff and that have had, you know, bad customer experience, but it's kind of surprising that the worst Walmart experience customers, like the employees, were just like angry and snippy at me just when I asked where the bathing suits were. And it's like, hey bitch, what the fuck?
It's everywhere I go to. Like there's a comic store down in Bel Air, Maryland I hit sometimes, and the one time I was just looking for a fucking Ninja Turtle toy because I was a dork, and while I was down there was a Walmart around there that wasn't, basically on my way back home, and a Target, and I stopped at both, and it's like, wow, this Walmart is full of fucking trash. And the Target's just full of nice fucking people. Like, and the Target, and what's ironic is it was a kind of a black area. So, like, the Target had a lot of black people in it, but, like, money blacks. You know what I mean? Like the well-to-do blacks were living there. And again, they were, like, 2 miles away from each other. And I'm like, what is causing this to happen?
Because I was in a Target recently for Mother's Day shopping, and I think just my theory is just that, you know, white people and black people kind of have a little bit of a different aesthetic. So like I was looking for a Mother's Day gift, and I had to wander into the Chip and Joanna Gaines section, and like my sister, she jokingly referred to that section as just like white bullshit, and I think there are like a portion of the population that would be kind of even just turned off by anything that's implicit.
Explanation for it, but again, I think it just goes a little bit beyond that.
Well, it's like the blacks that would be like, there are some blacks who would be turned off by something. It's like, oh man, that's white, man. That's a white place. I don't want to be around that. That's some white bullshit. And then there's like ones that are like, oh, okay, it's white and it's cool and I'm fine with that. And the blacks that are like, oh, that are like that are probably the ones
Target
that
definitely
go to Target.
feels a lot more hipster,
Yes,
for lack of a better term.
and there are hipster blacks too. I know some of them. You know.
Like Walmart still sells DVDs, but you can tell it's not because they care about physical media. It's just because their clientele can't afford streaming. You know what I mean, or whatever. And then like Target has physical media, but they have books and records. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely a more hipster vibe there. It's almost like Target is targeting people who aren't rich but want to look richer than they are.
It's targeting people who want to have who want to at least have kind of a nicer like aesthetic in an apartment, whereas like they're like, you know, they may not even have the money to want it to look nice, but they still want it to look nice, whereas like Walmart just tends to attract people that just like cheap crap.
Yeah, I think
See,
that's
we
part
have
of it.
here in the Midwest, we got Targets and Walmarts, and it's the same thing, but there's also a kind of a general purpose grocery and merchandise chain called Meijer. They're based in Michigan, but they have stores, you know, like Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and it's like it's like a Target without the hipster aesthetic. Like I just want to go in and buy some fucking groceries and like a pack of Hanes t-shirts, and it doesn't have any of that other crap, like none of that Chip and Joanna Gaines nonsense.
Well, I go into Target primarily because I'm looking for like fucking nerd shit. Like I'm like, do we have more Ninja Turtle action figures out? Because I need more. I just need more. Not so much now because I'm kind of fucking really watching my fucking money. Super chats, by the way, chat. But generally that's why I go to Target. I'm like, do they have those Thundercats He-Man crossover toys yet? Like, that's why I'm wandering into a Target. Did they put those Sonic characters dressed like the Justice League figures out yet? That's what I want.
Yeah, but like going back to mall ratting, like my peak wasn't when I was a kid or a teenager. My peak of mall ratting was from like 2003 to like 2013. And it's because I would, like, when I was working, I was traveling a lot for business, and I was like all over the country. And if ever I was in a place where, like, sometimes I'd have access to a car, sometimes I wouldn't, but like if ever I was in an unfamiliar place, if I could get a car, if there was a mall, I was going.
Oh, I used to do that a lot too. Anytime I was somewhere new, I'm like, is there? I mean, I'll look for a comic book store too, but I also look for a mall. I don't really look for the malls as much now, but like, because the problem is like maybe you'll find a good mall, or maybe you'll find a really depressing mall now, and that sucks, man. That just ruins your whole fucking day. Walking into a dead
What are you
mall
guys' thoughts
is
on
the
the
saddest
outlet
experience
malls?
in the world.
The things that would, the malls that would really depress me were ones where it's like a city of maybe 200,000 people at the most. The one that comes to mind is, to me, that I would pass through all the time because I would frequently go to Detroit for business, and don't even, like, I'd pass through Kalamazoo, Michigan, and like, or was it Battle Creek? One of those towns along I-94, and like that mall, you know, in like 2005-06, it was pretty good, but like you could just see it declining, and there's like nothing else for these people to go, because then the nearest mall that had anything decent would be at least an hour and a half away.
Oh, I just saw like a video of like Mall of America, and it's like just full of Somalis. It's like not even American blacks. It's just full of like fucking Somalis.
That really fucking depressed me with that, because like I went there and like I first went there in like 1995.
Yeah,
like not long after it opened, and it was.
I want to go to the Mall of America. And it's like, I guess.
Oh,
it's
it
too
was
late now.
phenomenal. Yeah, and even as late as like 2010, it was still decent. But
One of
Now,
the first
oof.
experiences where I was seeing all these Muslims in the Midwest. So it was 2005. I took my dad out to Dearborn, Michigan, I believe it was, and it was some stupid boomer car shit that he loves. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was like we were at this hotel, really nice hotel, and there was like a car show out in their big parking lot with all these boomers bringing out their dinosaur cars, and then I think he went to like. No, that wasn't the time he did the Ford plant tour, but he did some other stuff while he was out there. But I just remember because like the car stuff is kind of interesting to me, but I'm not a car guy, so like I walk around seeing all the cars for like, and I'm done, and he's like not even gone down the first the first aisle of cars, and there happened to be a mall like right next to this hotel. Like this hotel, I
have stayed at that hotel.
Yeah, this
many
hotel was
times.
like a satellite to this
Yep.
mall. So I go in the mall, and the mall itself was
Sports
fine.
Center Mall.
I think we saw Sin City while we were out there because I actually picked up the volumes of Sin City that weren't in the movie at the bookstore there. Like I picked up one and I was like, this is just verbatim what was in the movie, and then I picked up the volumes that weren't in the movie. And then I'm walking around this mall, and it's a reasonably nice mall, but it's just like fucking full burqas on some of these women and shit, and I was like, what is going on out here? Like,
Yep, Dearborn. Yeah,
it
Dearborn.
seems like a lot of it.
I thought Bush was killing all these people.
Under Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Obama, I know he had changed a lot of the immigration policy and like the refugee policy.
This was 05 though.
to
This was right in the Bush years. This was in the hard, like Bush was still reasonably popular. This wasn't before the bottom fell out in like 06 and 08. This was 05, man. It was still like, that's what I mean. I'm walking around. I'm like, I thought Toby Keith and Bush were killing all these people. Like, what are we?
Well, I'm having a similar experience where I live. It used to be, a city in the South. I don't want to go into specifics, but now it's like I can't. I probably went until I was like 16 or 17 without ever seeing a Muslim in person, and then now it's like whenever I go out anywhere, I just will always see at least one, whether it's just like on the street at the grocery store. Whatever, and it's just kind of strange as to like how's this happened.
I knew the first Muslims I ever knew when I was a kid. This was like in the 90s, early 90s. I knew a Muslim family that I was kind of friends with, and their dad was in the military, but they were very Americanized Muslims. You know what I mean? Like the woman, the mom of the family wore like kind of a thing over her hair when she was out, but she never even wore it in the house. And they were basically on the level of like evangelicals when it came to being kind of quirky religious, but they weren't like fucking 4th century throwbacks. You know what I mean? And like, so for a while, I just thought that's what Muslims were. I was like, oh, well, I guess that's fine, But then it's like, you start to be around the deep Muslim communities and shit, and you're like, oh, a lot of these people were fucked. We shouldn't have them here.
One thing actually pretty encouraging about this whole Trump South Africa thing is I hope that a lot of them start coming here and they start doing the opposite of that. It's like take 100,000 like white South Africans and put them into Maine. That would flip Maine from like a deep blue state to like a deep red state just because it's so small.
What was really hilarious about that whole thing was like the president of South Africa brought the 2 white South African golfers. Like, hey, these are my white friends. Like, a white guy would say, I have black friends.
Look,
and then they started going
I'm
after him.
I'm not planning on killing these 2.
Yeah, they were going after talking about like, oh yeah, I own a farm and we knew several people who had been attacked and all the horrible things that had happened to them.
Well, we have to kill these guys because whites in South Africa were kind of mean to blacks 40 years ago. Like, get fucked, man. Like, shut up. Also, let's talk about the history of South Africa. That isn't even like a country where whites came there and displaced native blacks. There basically were no tribes there until white people built a country and then blacks started pouring in. Like there was
Plus,
nothing
too, I mean,
there.
and plus, too, they were chanting like "kill the Boer," and like the Boers were the ones that had come in over in the
No, I'm
1500s. You know,
talking about
they
like
were the
the
people who had
ancient,
really.
ancient, but you know the old history of South Africa. Like that's how that nation came about. Like Dutch settlers, but you know, on the Horn of Africa, basically found an empty spot and built a country because it made shipping easier.
I think there were a few like indigenous tribes, like the Pygmy or something like that. But yeah, it was very, very empty. Like the Bantu, the Xhosa, the Zulus, the ones that are kind of the more prominent tribes of South
The
Africa.
ones that are
Those,
there now
like I know,
causing
man, they didn't
problems.
come in later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, that was another thing where, you know, these were mostly religious settlers. And I mean, you know, everybody complains about how the Native Americans are treated. And they were when you go out west, when you look at the West, how the West was settled. Yeah, the government got really grabsy. But here in the East Coast, like, nobody's land was stolen, okay? Land that was taken was paid for. Because if there's one thing the Pilgrims believed in, it was property rights. Like, you know, they were hardly Ron Paul libertarians, but they did believe in property rights, and they didn't just steal land from people.
You know, ironically, the closest thing that happened to the westward expansion in the history of South Africa was it happened to the white Boers, and it was done by the white Anglos in the Boer War when they had fought it and they had, you know, tried to take the land from South Africa. Like they put like the white Anglos put the white Boers into concentration camps and you know starved them to death. It was the first ever use of concentration camps in history. Like they didn't do that to the black Africans. So like the Boer probably have more in common with the Native Americans than even most of the black Africans do.
And you know, all these liberals like, oh, you just like these white South African refugees because they're white. And it's like, well, look, I ain't gonna lie, that doesn't hurt. But let's be real. We're talking about refugees that are actual refugees of real persecution. They're not just leaving their country because it's shitty and poor. And B, they're coming here. They're speaking English. They're waving American flags in gratitude when they get here. And they're probably not, I mean, who knows what the future holds, but they're probably not going to be committing violent crimes at disproportionately high levels. So I'm kind of okay with them being here. And you know what? If the other refugees were acting like that, no one would have probably had a problem with them either.
Yeah, just wait till one of those white South Africans gets a speeding ticket, and then all you're going to hear about is immigrant crime.
It is also kind of funny that despite how much you know a lot of like liberals are all about Ukraine, I never see any of them ever advocating like taking in refugees from
Well,
Ukraine.
yeah, they don't
I don't
wanna,
even.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of blue-haired feminists want to just import lots of blonde hotties.
Yeah, no, they would turn into like SS officers immediately.
Oh yeah, they'd be building.
They would be.
They'd be
so
building
much more
walls
racist than
along the
anything any of
shoreline.
us have said.
They'd be building walls on the beaches. It's not
Yeah.
enough to have a northern and southern wall.
I don't even want to joke about like the cruelty that they would do because like I don't, you know, like it's like the old H.L. Mencken quote, you know, and like a misogynist is a man that hates women as much as women hate one another, and it would not go over very well.
Chat says, speaking of malls, damn shame. He's saying one of the malls he went to was demolished for an office complex. I'm so glad Park City's still kicking. It ain't what it used to be, but it's picked back up here, the mall around me. I mean, it used to, like, and part of that's just because some of the stores I used to love are gone. Like, B. Dalton's bookstore is gone. You know, Suncoast Video's gone. You know, those places are fucking gone.
You know what place needs to go is FYE. FYE has the worst prices I've ever seen. I get that, you know, obviously the business model is struggling, but like I walked in there and I think it was something like $35 for a used copy of the Avengers on Blu-ray.
I am happy that the fucking DVD store still exists, so I won't say I want them gone, but damn, I want them to ease up. I go into FYE and I look at fucking prices of shit, And I mean, you got to be buying their used DVDs to get anything decent. You look at like the figures and shit and all that ancillary stuff, and it's like, you know, this thing would be like $9 at Target, and they want $25 for it. It's like, where do you even get these prices? Like,
I had no idea FYE was even still a thing until I went to. I mean, there is a mall by where I live now that's, that is successful. And like they had an FYE there, and I had no idea. And it's weird that the mall's still successful because, God, like it had 6 anchor stores and 3 of them are gone.
yeah, Park City was like that. It had a Sears, a Penny's, a B Dalton's, and a Bon-Ton. And I think J.C. Penney's is about ready to die. Sears is long gone. Either between the B Daltons and the Bon-Ton, one of them left, and I can never tell them apart. The Bon-Ton, it's now a furniture store. The Sears is now the round one, like I said. Penny's is about ready to go tits up.
Yeah, Penny's is still there. The Macy's at this mall, the Macy's is still there.
There's a Kohl's there too, and I think Kohl's is actually doing okay.
Yeah, it actually, this place actually has a Nordstrom. So, but it's not. I mean, it has like some high end stuff. Like, I mean, it's got an Apple store and like a fucking Abercrombie or whatever. But it also has, I mean, there's like, there's a GameStop in there, and other.
It also has a couple of
normal
shoe
things.
stores that are all really good.
I remember in the 2000s, at one point, Park City had 4 GameStops. No, it was 3. It was 3 GameStops, and the reason being is because GameStop bought the competitors back then.
EB Games and Babbage's.
Games, and I think Babbage's as well. So they were all in that, but then they just became 3 GameStops in the same mall.
Oh no, or was it Funkoland?
No, Funkoland was that's good God, that's late 90s. But that wasn't one of the ones that in this mall. I think it was Babbage's and EB Games.
Yeah.
And they got bought by, so it was just 3 fucking GameStops at one point. Because I specifically remember like 06, I wanted to get, and I didn't even think to like pre-order shit or anything at that time, but I got Marvel Ultimate Alliance right when it came out on the PS2, and I went into GameStop, the one GameStop, and I'm like, you got Marvel Ultimate Alliance PS2? And he goes, no, go to our other store in the East Wing. I'm like, okay. It's weird, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there were 2. It was an EB Games and a GameStop in the mall, and then a GameStop in the like outdoor strip mall across the street.
Some of the malls in my area, they got like other stores, but like some of the stores have kind of gone down in quality. So you get like smoke shops or like kind of cheap Chinese craft stores. I think one of them even has like a Indian woman's clothing store in there.
Chat just said, after hearing that Paramount is banning problematic episodes of South Park and Family Guy off their streaming service, I value my physical media more than ever. Man, again, you should have known that was coming for a while. I mean, it was like 2-3 years ago. I think it was Netflix took down episodes of the fucking Golden Girls. And that always sticks in my head because that's a show in the 80s your mom and your aunt watched. It's the most milquetoast, unoffensive shit imaginable. And it's still like, some of these episodes are too spicy. And it's like, you should have known a Ragnarok was coming in.
Like in The Office, there's one episode where like one of the characters wears blackface, and they edited that out.
They removed a Golden Girls episode supposedly for blackface, and it wasn't even blackface. The joke was like they were wearing one of those like skincare facial cream masks, and somebody just thought they were wearing blackface because it was dark, but they weren't. Like that was the joke of the episode, I guess. So they weren't even in blackface. It's just something that looked like blackface, and someone mistook it for it, but it wasn't.
I saw a weird censorship. Like I have an antenna for a TV, and I was flipping around, and it was like one of those broadcast TV channels that just broadcasts old, Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry and cartoons of that era. And they had this one cartoon. It was the one where it's like the crow, where it's like this crow, and and they went and redubbed over this crow episode because You could tell that it was one of them cartoons where the character he don't talk like this.
I love those.
Um,
I love those.
Ye-
I love those crows. They're hilarious.
Well, then you would hate this one because they went and redubbed it, but they made like the Crow character talk, more normal, and you could tell they also dubbed over some of the other characters, so
I'm amazed
they made them
Disney.
just less funny.
I'm amazed Disney hasn't really like changed a bunch of their stuff. Like you can still watch, and yeah, if you go click on Dumbo on Disney Plus, it'll be like this is not suitable for children, even though it's fucking Dumbo. But it's like, they still got the oh shucks crows in there.
Mhm.
I've done never seen no elephant fly. God, that shit's funny as hell, man. I guess.
Was it a Disney? Was it Song of the South?
That
think
I
they
don't think they have on
Pulled
their
that
streaming
one.
platform.
Yeah, they pulled that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in all
when I was a
fairness,
kid in the '90s, they had
yeah,
like
they
a
pulled that
Disney-
one in like the '90s. In all fairness, that one, I get it a little bit. Like I'm not pro censorship. Like I'm very pro have an archive of your things, and it should be available for people that want to see it. But like, I get why there's no actors dressed like Uncle Remus walking around Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like I understand.
But
Probably a
but
good
until,
call. Probably.
But until even like 2015, you could still was that right? Like not was it like Splash Mountain still had
Yeah,
the
Splash
theming
Mountain.
from that movie?
Yeah, and I had a VHS of like all the great Disney songs, and that one it had Zippity Doodah on it.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean,
Zippity Doodah was a. When I was a kid, I knew the song Zippity Doodah, and I never knew what it was from, because I never saw that movie anywhere. But I'd see Zippity Doodah all the time. Like Disney Channel and like shit would play that, but just not play the movie.
Well, funny thing about that movie, one time I was driving through, and I was driving through rural backwoods Georgia, and I actually found there was a museum. It was actually called the Uncle Remus Museum, and it was a whole museum dedicated to that character and that story. I guess it was the author was from whatever small town it was, and the small town, wanted to offer up the tribute, and it kind of stinks. It's like this little pissant backwoods Georgia town. They had like
in all
one
fairness,
thing they could be proud of, and they're not allowed to celebrate that
in
anymore.
all fairness, as much as things are swinging, much as the pendulum's swinging, I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now you have black actors walking around Disney World on their dime, just going up to customers. Well, shucks off. Just Uncle Remus next to fucking Mickey Mouse and shit. You never know, man, because I think attitudes are going to shift pretty fucking suddenly on in the next probably 20 years. Because Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the ones that aren't troons at least, are fucking almost, they're almost deranged. Like things are probably going to shift rightward to a point where I'm not going to be comfortable with it anymore.
The one cultural disconnect when it comes to Gen Z and Gen Alpha that's kind of weird though is that I mean what you're saying is right, but they still tend to use like a lot of like black slang. Even when I see like Zoomers that are like European, they'll be like, "Yes, it is busted for real, no cap."
Well, let's
so-
be real. It isn't like they're like, look, I hate to sound all libtard, but it isn't like there's a history of white people seeing something cool black people did and ripping it off. I mean, that goes back a ways. Like, that goes back a ways. Like, it isn't like Elvis Presley didn't just make his name just mimicking all the black people he knew growing up.
Well, Elvis actually was a bit of an interesting case because apparently he actually really liked black culture and really actually revered it and tried to give it credit where it was due, but it was the record labels that would censor it. They didn't even want them, like Elvis would celebrate the black culture, but the record labels wouldn't. They tried to keep that crap quiet.
Donovan Warland says, I hate when people call things fire. I have to admit, I've picked that one up. I'll call things fire. I'll even, like, when I'm typing, I'll use the fire emoji because I'm hip with the young people like that.
Fire and mid. Everything is mid.
I hate mid. I hate cap and I hate no cap.
Look, here's where I hate Zoom. Anytime a Zoomer starts getting really arrogant about me and starts like calling me cringe or something, you cringe old man, and it's like, all right, you know what? You are a generation of 25-year-old virgins, so sit your ass fucking down. All right, buddy. Like, yeah, I'm cringe, but I also managed to get 2 girls at once before I was done high school, and you're 25 and you're afraid of love scenes in movies, so shut the fuck up. Like,
Crash Out. That's one I hate. It's called a meltdown. You like broccoli haired mulatto perm wearing youngins.
my best friend, and he's a good kid. He's a sweet kid. I do love the kid to death. But like, he'll bring his son over sometimes when he's hanging out, and he'll say the most unhinged fucking like nonsense talk, and it's honestly like it's just like, shut up, just shut up. And he's like crash out and stuff like that. Just shut up, just hush. Okay, just hush. Chat says mid is appropriate for description. The problem is mid was supposed to mean just middle of the road, and then they turned it into meaning bad somehow.
That was another one that was pretty annoying. That was like 10 years ago, but I remember one time when I just heard it in the wild, and I think I was 20 with that, like 21, and I was like, I'm old. I was old at that point.
You're old. I'm fucking 42.
I'm 45.
Oh, God.
I'm 31.
You damn kids.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
The less someone remembers pre 9/11 America, the less I kind of respect them. I'm going to be honest with you. Because it's like, when you're like, oh, let me tell you about what's cool. And it's like, you grew up in a shitty world where you have no idea what's cool, all right? Like,
Yeah, I was born in '93, and I'd say your theory is generally pretty correct.
Yeah, if you're born after '93, I'm sorry, a lot of times you're a pussy. All right. Here's the weird thing to me. I dated a woman born in I think '72 once. I was 25 and she was in her 30s, so she was about 10 years older than me. I found there was less of a like cultural gap between me and her than there is between someone that's like a '93 baby. I've noticed that for years. Like, it's so different. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is like, I grew up in a world where I had reruns, where I heard the oldie station. You know what I mean? I was exposed to a lot of things before my time. Whereas the Zoomers in particular, and even the young millennials, it just feels like they had no dads or older brothers or something. Like, you talk to like a 95 baby and you mention something and it's like, oh yeah, did you ever see the first Jurassic Park? And they're like, I was born in 92 and 94. It came out in 93. It's like, so what? Like, you've had time since then. Why haven't you seen it? Like, my favorite movie of all time is Ghostbusters, and I was 1 when it was in theaters. You think I saw it then? Like, how were you not exposed to these things? When I had a caller on here this was back in 2016, but I had some young kid caller on here, and they didn't know, they were trying to tell me all about superhero movies, and they didn't know Michael Keaton had played Batman. I'm like, how do you not know that? Well, it was before my time. It's like, yeah, I'm familiar with Adam West, and I didn't exist in the 60s. What are you talking about?
Yeah, my mom would watch Gilligan's Island, shows him like Gilligan's Island stuff. Gilligan's Island reruns.
One of my favorite shows for a brief period when I was a kid, about 10 years old, was Get Smart, because I discovered it on Nick at Night. Now, after about a year, I'd seen all of them, because, they rerun like 1 episode a day, you know what I mean? But I'm like, wow, this show rules. And that show's like from the mid-'60s.
I fucking love Columbo.
That is a weird thing. Zoomers have rediscovered Columbo. I don't know where that came from out of nowhere, but Zoomers are apparently big into Columbo. That's a weird one, but I mean, good for them. It's nice to see them, discover something before 2010.
I just discovered All in the Family. That's pretty funny.
Chat says, before my time needs to be slapped. Fuck, I used to watch Nick at Night on my own. Yeah, I did too, man. I never understood, well, that was before my time. And like, who cares? Especially like when you get into something, like if you get into a franchise and it has this history, don't you want to dive into the history of that? It's weird when I'm like, even in like comic message or like on comic discords, I'm talking to these like, younger people that are into comics, and I'll mention something from like the 90s and they have no idea what I'm talking about. And it's like, isn't there a back issue bin near you? What the fuck are you doing? Hell, go on Read Comics Online and just pirate the damn things. They're 30-year-old comics. Nobody cares. Chat says Columbo is the man. Yeah, I don't know where the Zoomers rediscovered Columbo from, but Columbo's having quite the renaissance these days. I mean, good. Again, I'm glad to see them, broaden their horizons a little bit. Good God, I remember when Black Panther came out and all these people were talking about it being the first black superhero movie. And I'm like, there's been like 9 black superhero. He's like, what are you talking about?
I'm not even into comic books, and I watched Blade a million times.
Yeah, there were 3 Blade movies.
I saw that in the theater when it first came out.
There were 3 Blade movies. There was a Spawn movie. So we're at 4. There was a Steel movie. It sucked, but it exists. And then what? Meteor Man and Blank Man. And then Hancock, if you want to count that. So we're at 8 here before Black Panther. And I'm probably missing one.
I don't know if you'd heard about this. When Black Panther came out, there's a town in Illinois called Wakanda. It's spelled differently. It's spelled like the Indian
I
name.
saw that.
And people were thinking that it was Black Panther Wakanda.
So I remember we covered this on the stream at the time. The sheriff of Wakanda took like a goofy little like social media picture of him with like a little Black Panther mask, and it was like a little kid one, you got from Target or something. Like didn't even really fit on his face, but he's like, yeah, Wakanda, and it's just some goofy thing. And then I saw somebody like on Twitter trying to be, and we covered on the show even make fun of it. It was like, look at this white person trying to take credit for black art. And I'm like, yes, of course, the well-known black men, creators of Black Panther, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, well-known black men.
The director of Black Panther, he's got that movie out, Sinners, which I haven't seen it, and it's like it's one of those things where you hear good things about it, but is it actually a good movie, or is it like Black Panther where it's just mediocre but people pretend to like it for to try to seem inclusive?
The first Black Panther is okay. I finally saw it on demand, and it's fine. It's for as much as it was touted as this amazing thing, it's such a paint by numbers superhero movie when you get right down to it. And then there was another one where it's like I didn't even bother seeing it because it's like, hey kids, you like Black Panther? Well, too bad, he's dead. Watch this movie about people being sad about it. I guess like here's a Black Panther sequel with no Black Panther. Awesome.
I don't get why they just didn't recast the guy.
He probably would have preferred it. Like he probably would have been like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, have another black male actor and have a good career. I mean, he was a talented actor. I'll give him that. Like, he probably would have had
He
a
seemed
very
like
good
he
career.
was a
after
pretty
this.
decent guy too, certainly by Hollywood standards. I mean, he was dying and he was still like, yeah, I want to be Black Panther because it's cool. I like working. I like acting. I want to be an iconic character people will remember for years. He even voiced the character in the fucking What If cartoon as he was basically on his deathbed. Like, he seemed like a great guy in all fairness, especially by Hollywood standards. He seemed like a stand-up guy. I mean, I don't know.
Plus he had, like,
Maybe he was a
a
piece of
Well,
shit, but-
yeah, it's a stand-up guy who took his craft seriously.
Yeah, it's nice when an actor turns out to not be an obvious piece of shit, because most of them are. Like, I try not to even learn about actors generally, just because it's like I just want to enjoy the fucking movies, and they're all pieces of shit. Like almost all like, and it's easy to like, oh, watch them on the screen and they play these cool characters, but they're not that. They're fucking garbage. Okay, like. I had a huge arrow boner when that show was on, to the point where if I'd ever ran into that actor in the street, I'd have screamed, "Oh my God, it's Oliver Queen," like a fucking little girl. But he's probably a piece of shit, Stephen Amell. Like, I've never followed him on social media because I don't want to hear anything from him. Like, because he's not Oliver Queen. He's some empty-headed pretty boy who probably had to let some Jewish producer fuck him in the ass to get his job. So, I don't really care what he has to say about anything.
You know, I wonder if that's part of the reason why some of the fatigue is happening is the P Diddy scandal, because it's hard to make Kendrick Lamar or look cool when you know P Diddy probably had to take it to Pound Town.
I don't know, man. It's funny. Like, I'll tell you, the one who was telling everybody about this for years was 50 Cent. For years, 50 Cent was being like, "That nigga's queer. I don't want nothing to do with him." Like,
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams called him out on it too. Yeah.
God, man.
I don't know. It's
Kendrick
between
Lamar,
that and
he is-
Epstein. It's like we're covering both the white and the black corners of Hollywood, making sure we're just getting dirt on all of them. Because that's why P Diddy was allowed to operate it basically open secret for so long. You know that, probably not as much as Epstein, obviously, but there's all sorts of Fed connections there. I guarantee you that was a honeypot.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why so many of them would like. You'd see some of these rappers and they're like, yeah, fucking Hillary Clinton's based or something, and it's like you could see in their eyes they're not even happy with this. Like,
How much connection does P Diddy have with the politics? I mean, you can say a lot about him. I don't think he was really all that. Wait, no, never mind. I take that back. He had a song "Vote or Die" back in the day.
He did, and he had a lot of connections to Obama. Obama and Big Mike been to some freak off parties. I guarantee it.
Who was the top?
They're both bottoms. They're both backing up into a big double-headed dildo.
No, Big Mike is the dominant type. Like
I was just gonna say,
was like a take charge kind of guy.
That is I won't go so far as to say I 100% believe it, but that is legitimately one of the more outlandish conspiracy theories that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest bit. If tomorrow they're like, "Yeah, Michelle Obama is a dude, 100% confirmed," I'd be like, "Yeah, makes sense."
Okay, what do you think more likely, Michelle Obama being a man or Justin Trudeau being the son of Fidel Castro?
Justin Trudeau is 100% the son of Fidel Castro. There is no fucking way he's not. I think maybe Michelle Obama's a man. Like, that's 50-50 to me probably, but like I would bet every dollar to my name, which isn't a lot right now, but still, that if we took a blood test, if we could actually prove it one way or another, that is 100% Fidel Castro's son. Like, for one thing, his parents, quote unquote, hung out with Fidel Castro all the fucking time. And he looks exactly like Fidel Castro. And you just know Trudeau Sr. Trudeau Sr. was there when Justin was conceived. He was just in the chair.
The timeline matches up.
That is what I believe happened. I believe that Trudeau Sr. was there when Justin was conceived. But he was not. He was on the other side of the room.
Dude, you could say a lot of things about Fidel Castro, but that dude was a Giga Chad.
He was.
Like, people say that he had like 35,000 women, and honest to God, I could believe it.
You know what? For as much of a goofy metrosexual as he is, you can't argue that his son didn't also have quite the accomplishments. They were all bad accomplishments, sure, but I mean, he tried very hard to be every bit the monster his father was.
Yeah. And it's like, kind of reminds me of Gavin Newsom, where I
In
think
that they're
both of
gay?
them are just like, no, no, no. I don't think that they're gay. I think both of them are like chads, and that they're just like outright sociopaths who don't believe anything that they're doing, and
Gavin
they're just
Newsom is
adopting
indeed a
liberalism.
sociopath. Gavin Newsom is also completely fucking gay. You can't convince me otherwise. Gavin Newsom is the text. Look, first of all, let's be real here. We're all largely on the right or adjacent here, so let's be honest for a second. Repressed homosexuality is the lifeblood of the online right. Like, it's fueled the manosphere. It fuels the fucking fasci bros. It fuels the trads. And Gavin is
Fuels the gripers.
textbook definition of that. He is the absolute textbook definition of overcompensating, obvious closet case. Okay? Straight men don't fucking put butt plugs up their ass to prove a point. You know, oh, I kissed Milo to own the Muslims. It's like, cool, man. You could have also had a ham sandwich and a beer. Right?
Wait, I was talking about Gavin Newsom, not Gavin McInnes.
Oh, Gavin McInnes. I got him mixed up in my head. I'm sorry.
No.
I was thinking Gavin
like-
McInnes. Gavin McInnes is very...
No, Gavin
Newsom
McInnes
isn't
is more
gay.
queer than a.
Gavin Newsom isn't gay. No, you're right. Gavin McInnes.
No, Gavin McInnes is a. Gavin McInnes, that guy is more queer than a football.
Yeah,
bat.
Gavin McInnes is so gay. He is
Yeah.
so
who's
fucking
gayer,
gay.
who's gayer, him or Fuentes?
Well, Fuentes is possibly the gayest thing that's ever existed. So Fuentes.
Okay.
I mean, Fuentes is like the
Gavin-
Fuentes is the platonic
McInnes has
ideal.
at least
of
had
gay.
sex with a woman at one point. You know, like we know Gavin McInnes has gotten on top of a woman and has had children, whereas Fuentes is like
Fuentes
outright
would be
repulsed by that idea.
yeah. Fuentes would be repelled by
That is-
a vagina like kryptonite to Superman. Okay, like it would just like sunlight on a vampire. Fuentes might actually turn to dust if he touched a vagina. Fuentes
He
is
actually
the
exploded
gayest
up.
thing that's ever existed. He's the gayest man that's ever lived.
He exploded out of his mother's stomach.
Yeah, because he wouldn't touch a vagina.
Yep.
He came out of her ass. He burrowed his way out of there like a mole, digging through the dirt.
At least Liberace and Elton John and Freddie Mercury, they were confirmed to have been with women at one point.
You know, Freddie Mercury is one I legitimately think is just a pure bisexual hedonist. I mean, for
Well,
a gay man, he certainly
wasn't-
Freddie Mercury
wasn't-
slammed a lot of vagina for a gay man. Like,
Well, and didn't Freddie Mercury, wasn't he like, I don't want to be an icon of your movement?
yeah, Freddie Mercury was just pure bisexual hedonist. Freddie Mercury just loved to fuck and wasn't particular about who, is my opinion. And let's be real, it's probably easier to pick up dudes than chicks. So that's probably why he got a lot of dudes. But he also got a lot of fucking pussy for a gay man. See, but that's back then especially, like, you're just gay. Like, guys aren't allowed to be bi. That's just the reality of it. You know, I don't know why that is exactly, but if you're a bisexual woman, which is really all women, but if you're a bisexual woman, you're the belle of the ball. You're the life of the party. If you're a bisexual dude, the whole of society is like, pick a lane, asshole. Chet says Gavin McInnes, he is an odd dude. I will always call him Gavin McInnes, too. I love every time he wants to run his mouth, too. Like, oh, you like anime and video games and comics. You're not a real man. And it's like, you shove dildos up your ass on TV. Like, what are you... How dare you? Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, I have
You
never
formed a
kissed
homoerotic
a man.
street gang, and then you fucking threw them all under the bus and then snitched on them to the feds. Get fucked, dude.
Yeah, that's at least Fuentes could be funny and entertaining at times. It can make intelligent points. I have never seen anything worth redeeming
A
about
couple of years ago,
Gavin McInnes.
A couple of years ago, Gavin McInnes was on Friday Night Tights, which I don't watch because Nerdrotic is a fucking meth addict idiot. But because he hates nerd stuff, he just immediately he started shitting on all the comic stuff, and then pulled his little pecker out and started peeing on the table. I'm not making that up, by the way. They had to take down that episode before their channel got struck. And I'm like, why did you invite him, you clout chasing faggots? Like, I need super chats. I need the money. Gavin McAnus could contact me right now and say, I want to come on your stream. And maybe if I was desperate, I'd come. I just let him on here to roast him until he like fucking leaves. Mute him if he gets too loud. Like, no, Gavin, you will sit here and hear about what a faggot you are. Otherwise, but probably I'd just say no. He's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you, you fucking fed. You fucking dick-licking fed. Get out of here. Like, that's one of those ones where it's like, I'm
Isn't he
repulsed by
Canadian fed?
He sold everybody
even
out.
worse.
He sold his little street gang out to the feds. Like, he snitched on them. Like, he did, 100%. That's a fact. No, that's one of those ones, by the way, like, I think it was like, my dad was, like, scrolling YouTube, and he stumbles across, like, some Gavin McAnus was on some fucking, I don't know, I think he was talking to Compound. I don't know who he was talking to, but it was like, I immediately, just like, I didn't even say anything. I snatched the remote from him, I turned it off. I'm like, no, you're not watching that. Like, not on my watch. Sorry to tell you. Like, ew. Like, at least Milo or Nick Fuentes even can be funny, but Gavin just sucks. Like, what an absolute piece of shit he is. But I love that, like, everybody that associates him with him, it just bites him in the ass. Like I said, like, Nerdrotic's like, I'll let this grifter on my show. And then he damn near terminates your channel because he's a fucking sociopath.
I think he actually got fired by Anthony Cumia.
Oh, he gets fired by everybody, man. I long for a day where we all just stop, like, just the internet as a whole collectively blocks him.
Yeah, you got to be pretty unstable and just unprofessional if, like, Anthony Cumia and Jim Norton don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. When Jim Norton takes the tranny cock out of his mouth to call you a fag, you need to do some self-reflecting.
Well, Jim justified in doing that too. You gotta be like, you gotta look at yourself and like.
Yeah, Jim was right. He's right to do that. Like, who would you rather associate with, Jim Norton or Gavin McAnus? Well, if I got to pick one, I guess Jim.
Who would win in a fight, Jim Norton's girlfriend or Big Mike?
Probably Big Mike. I mean, Big Mike's pretty fucking. That's a She-Hulk looking motherfucker. And not like John Byrne drawing her sexy She-Hulk. I'm talking like the terrible Disney Plus show.
Yeah. That's like a real tranny, not like the ones that people pretend trannies are like.
Well, we've gone on for about an hour and a half, so I think I'm going to wrap this up. Because I'm not getting any super chats, and I am a whore. So, now, I'm not going to stick butt plugs up my ass for super chats. I'm not Gavin, but... All right, folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. Streamlabs.com/TheBeckloff, PayPal.me/TheBeckloff, and I'll put a link to the Amazon.
Thanks for letting me talk to.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
thanks for.
Yeah. I just called in because like I enjoyed the Discord a long time ago, and I don't really use Discord, and I got kicked out. So it's like when I made the post in there, everybody just assumed that I was Tom Bombadil and that I was like trying to dox people. It's like, hey man, like that one guy Dan, I literally know nothing about him. I really want to make it clear that doxing is fucking gay, doxing is fucking retarded. I got nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah, Tom, Bombadil just caused all sorts of problems. And again, I mean, I hate throwing people out, and it's like, you know, he snuck in numerous times under other names, and it's like, you know, honestly, if you snuck in and just stopped causing shit, I probably wouldn't even notice. Like,
But yeah, the way I came in, and like after not posting it, I totally get why everybody would think that I'm Tom Bombadil and like why people would do that. But I really just want to be on the record that like doxing is one of the shittiest things you can do, and I don't want to even be remotely implied that I would ever do something like that or that I am ever
involved.
All right. Well, like I said, that's about it for tonight, folks. Ways to donate down below if you're so kind. And